Hi there. Welcome to the HTM buddy build of the USS Reliant. My name is Ken with Ken's Hobby Bench.
I'm Jordan with the Line of the Stars.
Well, welcome back to our buddy build here, everyone. We have Jordan's got some new parts in. I'm waiting for some new parts, and we have some news from our sponsor, Lake Monster Details. So, where
Indeed.
would you like to start?
Why don't we go ahead and start with the news from Cass over at Lake Monster Details, and then we'll go into the mail call.
All right, that sounds good. So, I've been keeping in touch with Cass as best as I could, and he's wanted to let us know that he's hoping that the parts for the Reliant here will be coming out sometime in August, probably late August. So that's what he's hoping for. And then he also wanted people to know that in the future he has some items he's working on for the 1650 TOS, and I'm really excited for some more parts for the 1/537 scale refit of the Enterprise.
Ooh, awesome.
Yes, so it would be a nice piece to bring up and do along with to have with the Reliant.
Well, and a lot of these parts that are being done for this can be kind of like transposed, 'cause like all the the light boxes around the outside, for the outside windows, like the RCS thrusters. A lot of that stuff can be reused, which is really really cool, actually.
Oh, very true, very true. Like like the fins on the nacelles.
Yep, exactly.
So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what he comes out with that, and at some point that'll be on my list of ships to build.
Awesome. 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 Well, I really look forward to seeing that from Cass. I know that he's had a lot going on. So, you know, glad to see that he's going to be able to start getting back at it, which is awesome. And so the little bit of a mail call here that we have. So Will has finished sending us all the parts because when I made the request, I forgot to mention all the parts that we needed. So, but first, but wait, there's more. One of the things that he sent along.
Oh,
Oh.
sorry. Let me change screens here.
So one of the things that he sent along first is some vinyl masks, and these are going to be for the nacelles and the roll bar, if I'm not mistaken. Correct?
That is correct.
Excellent. So he went ahead and just got those taken care of. We did ask for a file, but he's like, "Yeah, I can just go ahead and take care of getting that put in place for you." So we have some of the masks for the to kind of finish out the paint. What is it? What would you call them? Stencils or masks? The masking
Yeah, it's
kits
the
that
blue
we both have.
dashing and lines along the edges of the roll bar and the um, pylons, I guess.
Right. So yeah, it's a nice little complementary piece to kind of help out with the rest of the build. We have the replacement impulse deck, and I'll go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and grab the original, my part that's been modified, and this, in comparison, there's some tape sitting over the top, but they put in the built-in grills. There is a resin piece on the inside there that's going to a clear resin piece that will be able to light up very nice and evenly with the back behind the impulse, and the grates are put in place. Looks great. Aha. But
Nice.
as you can see, it is a good deal bigger than the part that was that we're going to be putting in place, and so this is going to sit right over the top, and it's not as wide, I would say. Well, no, it actually fits right in place. It's just as wide, yeah. So sorry, I was a little off camera there. Yeah, that's that. And in here, there they are. here are the two clear vents, and those fit into place right down below here. And
Nice.
I gotta say, like when you look at them, there's some really good detail.
I look forward to getting those parts.
Yeah, he was saying that he was having a tough time for whatever reason. Clear didn't want to print for him, so that's why it took a little extra time for him to get the parts over to us. But yeah, that completes the mod set. We have all of the parts ready to go. Like it's pretty awesome, man. Like we're ready to kind of like finish the modding and kind of move on to the rest of the build.
We're getting close to that painting stage, actually, I find.
Yeah, I like for as far behind of you as I am, I've been able to kind of keep good pace for some of the other things, like a lot of the pre-work that I had done on the nacelles and on the roll bar, like being able to basically have the parts for the roll bar. I'm going to finish that. So like I will have two complete sections built outside of like, sanding and getting all of like the, getting all of the seams taken care of and what have you. But basically I have two of the three components assembled and ready to go. So I'm pretty pleased about that. I guess that kind of leads a little bit to a segue. So I'll go ahead and talk about what I got done real quick last week. I went ahead and finished up the nacelles. Um, Looking to kind of get back on track as parts are here and I'm able to kind of complete some work. But got both my nacelles taken care of. I still have a little bit of uh, finished them just a little while ago, and so a little bit of the glue is still kind of bonding and what have you. So I got that taken care of. All the lighting works great. I still need to go through and repaint the outside of the chiller grills, and but I did go through and get all the sanding done that needed to get done, filled in a lot of the gaps, everything along the outsides, and so all the lighting turned out really well. Very few light leaks. Very pleased actually with how the nacelles turned out. And as we have the you'll have your parts hopefully this week, Ken. It took probably a couple more days beyond what I got them, so hopefully it should be there soon. I'll be able to actually finish the roll bars, so I'll be going ahead and putting the clear vents in place, putting my UV LEDs back behind here, and then we're going to go and cinch this up, get all the wires trenched down through here, and see how it all turns out. So that's kind of the plan for me. It's exciting to actually have the parts and be ready to go to kind of move on to the next phase. So, yeah, that's what I got. What about you?
Wow, that's cool. I'm actually looking forward to seeing that. For me, for those who saw my video last week, I started putting in my light boxes, so I'm going to continue on with that. I did some already, and you'll see me, finally getting these front two put in, and me altering my Raytheon effect so that they don't interfere with the Raytheon effect. Also, I saw that Will had commented on my last video, making a note because I had said uh, in doing that that you do have to sand these light boxes a bit, and he agreed. He said just due to the fact that he can only make the light boxes so thin. I'm just paraphrasing him here. That due to the fact you can only print them so thin, it does require a little bit of sanding. And yeah, I mean that's to be expected. So you're going to
Right.
see me finish that off. I'll get my bridge all attached and lit, and then I'm going to start putting my lights in the light boxes and get that hopefully all done up. And then yeah, and if I get the parts from Will, I did strip everything out of my weapons pod up here,
Mm,
so that way I can easily get access to this because really uh, the top part still has my flashing strobe, not a problem. And I knew I needed to relight block, so I figured I'll pull the photons out to be able to put these lights back in, and then I can put the photons back in and do the rest. So if I get those vents here this week, I will basically refinish this again. So Yeah, but that's what you're going to see. Just mostly lighting for me this episode.
Awesome, man. Well, I can't wait to see it. It's so cool. Like, I know that lighting was not something that you'd done a whole lot before getting into the sci-fi stuff, and so I'm really excited to see what you get done.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Well, it seems like the parts are arriving. I think it's time for all steam ahead, basically. Time to get moving on the
Yes, it
build.
is.
And so, yeah, really looking forward to seeing what you get done this week.
And I'm looking forward to seeing your progress as well.
All right. We'll see you at the bench.
See you at the bench.
All right. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Line of the Stars. I'm Jordan. And here we are. The next phase of assembly is ready to be completed. Now, a lot of the work has been done on the roll bar. I went ahead and got all 4 of my photon torpedo launchers individually lit up and individually wired up, because when we do the animations, when we go through and like this model is going to do things, I want each one of the photon torpedo launchers to kind of be able to fire independently of each other. And then in here as well, we have one of our nav lights input as well. So all of this has already been taken care of in one of the previous episodes. The parts that we've been waiting on, as crazy as it is one of these tiny little grill parts right here, and they actually fit in right down here on the lower half. And I had already previously cut out, but went ahead and through and got all the parts cleaned up and ready to go. So we're basically going to be working on getting these installed. Will at the ensign's chair, because Cass, who's obviously over at Lake Monster Details, who's very graciously sponsoring this build, is having some 3D printer issues. So Will, who designed these parts, went ahead and printed out a set for Ken and I. I got them this week, and so it's time to go ahead and finish it up. The roll bar, that is. And like I said, as for last week, we got the nacelles finished up and all lit up. Now it's time to go ahead and do the same thing for the roll bar, so we can kind of basically start cinching up all the parts. Next week, we're going to be doing the last little bit of modifications to the stock build, and we'll talk about that at the end of the episode. But for today, we're going to need to go ahead and get into getting we're going to basically put in 2 of our LEDs here. We're going to go ahead and light these up, get them fixed in place. We're going to get these grills put in place, and then we're just going to very simply twist up our wires, get a cable conduit running, and then run them down where I've already pre-trenched through there. So we're going to run that down, and then we're going to go ahead and get everything glued into place. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into building and finally finishing up the roll bar. As we get towards finishing up the primary assembly, I really want to get to paint. That's all I want to say. So let's go ahead and get on to building. All right, so we have our parts here, and I've already got one disassembled here, and this is not disassembled, but pulled off of the 3D print base, and it is a very small piece, but it does have a backing, so it's designed to sit back behind and fit into place. And we're going to use, as this is a resin piece, we're going to go ahead and use our CA for attaching it. I almost forgot to bring that out. And I've been actually thinking about using the UV resin to hold this in place. I worry about it leaking through. Yeah, it's a little too viscous, so I do worry about it leaking through. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my little pipette thing that goes at the end here and my glue. Go ahead and drop that on. There we are. All right, so let's go ahead and get our first one installed. If I'm not mistaken, it is from this side, right? It is indeed. And that's what that grill looks like fitting into that slot. Sticks out just slightly. Very, very cool. Fits in there nice. Okay, so I'm just going to very carefully and simply run a little bit of glue down just along the seams here. On the top and the bottom. And there's a little bit of a gap here. So use the CA for what it's good for and kind of filling around the outside. All right, so there we go. While that's curing in place, let's go ahead and remove our part. And this is such a tiny little part that I was able to just kind of use my fingernails to kind of pop it off. And then let's go ahead and grab our eraser file. Go ahead and clean up the back real fast. Kind of diffuse the back as well a little bit. There we go. Just like so. Excellent. Put that away. And then do the same thing over here. Oh. Tiny pieces, big fingers, Yeah, that's usually how this goes. Bet you a lot of us are in the same boat. And there's the other bottom grill. Although, looks like I need to do a little bit of cleanup right around the outside here. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my knife. And this just needs to be cleaned up a little bit. There's a little bit of a burr there. Let's go ahead and put this back in place. Because once that's CA'd in there, I don't want it to come out. So there we are. Make sure it looks good. Indeed it does. Very cool. Same thing. It's a little bit along the bottom. Not a whole lot. Any clouding that we might get is going to be welcomed for a little bit of diffusion. And then for the gap that kind of goes along the side here. There we go. Just kind of fill that in. All right. So there is our resin pieces installed. Ready to go. I'm going to let this cure up for a couple of minutes, and then we're going to come back and go ahead and get our LEDs installed. All right, so it's been a couple minutes. This is just nice and cured up now. I just wanted to give that a few minutes, like I said, just to make sure that everything's set in place. And what we have here are two heavily resistored, well, not really heavily, like they're, what did I put? A 1K resistor on here? But these are a 3mm, and it's kind of hard to pick up, but these are a 3mm UV LED, and I'm looking for that kind of pale blue color that they're offering, as this is a blue vent, and can get that same sort of vent that sits behind the main bridge, like we saw on the top, like the vent that we installed at the top of the main bridge. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go through, and very simply, I've kind of light tested and everything, ready to go. What I have found is that positioning them just like this, right at the very top, and have you can see there how it reacts. So what I'm going to do is I'm basically just going to install them so that we get as much reaction as far back as we can into the resin piece. And so I'll start with one side, and how I'm going to secure this is I'm going to use the old trusty method of using UV resin. All right, so we're going to start right here. Let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit. There we go. You guys can see what I'm doing here. And I got these lit up already so that I can test and have them positioned exactly where I want to. And where I'm going to secure it is going to be, that's good right there. Happy with that. Where I'm going to secure it is going to be right back here at the base. Put a bead over the top, thick one, and light it. I'm going to cure that up for just a moment, and I'll be right back. All right, so there we go. It's all secured in place. Let's go ahead and do the same thing on the other side here. That seems to be a pretty good spot. Just like so. Same thing. Kind of go heavy over the top here. And then quickly start curing. All right, so that is now secured in place. I'm pretty pleased with how that looks from this side. Let's take a look from the other side. Oh yeah. Now, the cameras are blowing that out big time. It is a much slighter glow that I'm seeing on my end, but I am very pleased with how that turned out. All right, last little bit, as these are going to be on the entire time that the model is going to be on, I want to go ahead and use a little bit of aluminum tape here to cover up the end, right around the end of the bulb, and over the top of this. And the reason I want to do that is I just don't want to have a whole lot of light leaking happen. And I just want to make sure that this isn't doing anything to block any of the light out. If anything, it's doing a better job of concentrating it. Excellent. As I had hoped it would. I'm going to go ahead and grab my spudging tool and kind of work on encapsulating this here. I just don't want to have too much of the light going out and illuminating, like, say, the back of the photon torpedo launchers, for instance, when I don't want them to be lit up. And this is aluminum tape, so I'm being careful to stay away from the connections there at the end of the LED. All right, and our last piece here. Aluminum tape is my new favorite thing, especially for light blocking. You could just go ahead and do the entire inside of a model with this stuff. All right, we'll take one more look here real fast. There is a little bit of light leak along the side here, so I'm going to try to cover that up best I can. But yeah, I'm pretty pleased with how that turned out. Excellent news. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the power. And let's go ahead and move on to getting this cinched up and getting all of our wires run together. All right, so I went ahead and just took my Dremel tool and I went ahead and bored out a little bit further down. I didn't go too crazy, but I did definitely go down probably another millimeter or so. And then what I realized is I did do this design so that these cables sit flat. And so the twist that I did, we're going to go ahead and see if we need that here. Once again, I need to kind of figure out if I'm going to go on common positives or common negatives. So for that, I went ahead and just, like I said, unbraided everything, uncoiled everything, so to say, laid it flat, and then I used a piece of Tamiya tape. I laid it flat on the workstation, and then I used just a piece of Tamiya tape to hold it flat in position so that basically I can just kind of grab this and set it down in place. So let's go ahead and start with getting our top portion glued into place. And in order to do so, we're going to need to use CA for this portion of it. So let me go ahead and grab my CA. And as a reminder, if you are using resin pieces, go ahead and make sure to use CA and not a melting glue like Tamiya Extra Thin or Tamiya, as the resin does not respond well to it. So let's go ahead and make sure everything's set in properly. So I'm going to go ahead and drop a bead of glue in right along this seam here in front, and then do the same thing over here in front on that side. All right, so got our new applicator put in place. Let's go ahead and get our parts glued in. Not going to use a whole lot of glue, just enough to kind of secure it in place. Do that both on the front and back before applying our part. There we go. Make sure that's set in properly. And get it fixed into place. I'm going to go ahead and hold these for just a moment. I think, instead of like trying to just wait, this should work. A couple of our little clamps here. There we are. Let's get this nice and clamped down real fast. All right, so first up, before we get on the side with the wires, I'm going to go ahead and take the easy way out here and get the first one installed. There we go. Making sure I'm figuring out how to get this done properly. There are 3 little mounting posts. We got 1, 2, and 3 there. with 1 and 2 up at the top. There's actually not one here, which is strange. So let's get this clipped into place. I'm going to go ahead, and I think in this instance, I'm going to start on this side with actually grabbing just the regular Tamiya cement, the full strength stuff, a little more bonded, or the stuff that will stick around for a little bit longer. And I'll go ahead and just drop a dab of that right down the middle. Spread that around a little bit, just like so. Go ahead and get this into place. And there we are. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, now that I got the center of that taken care of, I'm going to go ahead and clamp this down to hold it in place exactly where I want it. And then I'm going to very carefully go through and take my Tamiya and using the capillary action, as we all are very fond of using with the Tamiya extra thin. And I'm just going to go ahead and drop little beads along the outside and kind of holding and pinching and using clamps to kind of work through. I'm going to go ahead and take care of this side, and I'll be back in a few minutes from my perspective, and we'll go ahead and take care of the other side. All right, so we went ahead and got this all kind of cinched up. I'm going to take some more time in between episodes and continue to work through on getting my ultra thin put through and using it to, like, I went ahead and lit everything up, checked to make sure everything was working. Always double check that before you start sealing things up. But after I went ahead and got everything checked, I went ahead and started gluing along the sides here and to try to catch some of the light blocking and letting the Tamiya kind of melt through and do its thing. So let's go ahead and do the important side together, and we'll get it started taping up together as well. Or not taping, but gluing up together. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the tape to kind of very slightly hold it down. And what I'm going to do is use the tiniest little bit of super glue. Now, I want to keep the super glue, basically I want to get the secure connection kind of right from the very beginning. I am still going to be using the Tamiya to melt everything together. You also don't want to get your super glue on top of the wires, as it does make them a little brittle. But I'm just going to drop a couple drops here just to kind of work through and get some connection so I have something to work with, because I'm not going to have that big middle piece to kind of connect with on the with the regular Tamiya. So everything's sitting flat and even. Let's go ahead and do this thing. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my clamps. We're going to use 2 front and 2 rear. And there we are. Make sure everything's put in place properly. A little weird about that connection up here, so yep, I thought so. And there we go. I'm going to use my hands to kind of hold this together in the beginning here. Okay, I'm going to hold this together for just a moment, and I'll be right back. All right, so the super glue has done its thing. Now I'm going to go ahead and grab my clamps and go ahead and, once again, 2 front, 2 rear. And I'm going to go ahead and, once again, using the capillary action, use my Tamiya Ultra Thin and run along the seams for a couple of minutes. Last kind of iteration took about 15 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing here, and I'll be back. We'll go ahead and take a look to see how everything turned out. And the exciting part, give everything a light and see how it all looks when lit up together. We'll be back. All right, so after what felt like a lot of holding and gluing, combination of super glue and the Tamiya extra thin got the side with the wires running through it all sealed up. And then I went ahead and just went through the seams and got everything all glued up as best as I can. I'm going to continue to go through over the next couple of hours and in between episodes, going through and getting this all sealed up with some more glue. And just kind of as I have some time, I'm obviously working on some upcoming episodes here with some LEDs. We'll talk about that here in the coming, probably at the end of the next episode, because we're going to talk about the next episode at the end of this episode. Huh. Did I just confuse myself? Maybe just a little bit. Regardless, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to continue to work on getting this glued up and sealed up and light blocked. But I'm very pleased with how this turned out. Everything's nice and flat and level. I cannot tell that there's wires, and a lot of them, I think 12 wires running through the pylon there. And I'm pretty pleased with how it turned out. So let's go ahead and get her powered up. And let's go ahead and see how it all turned out. So immediately we should see a little bit of a light leak right up front and a little bit along the sides here. But we got our forward torpedo launchers all taken care of. Those are ready to go. There are the UV LED vents on the back. I'm actually really pleased with how those turned out. They're not as bright as you see there, which is great. And then we have our nav beacon. And I had originally run some fiber optic through there, but to be honest with you, I kind of like how that turned out. So I think I'm just going to leave it as such. And then we have our rear photon torpedo launchers as well. So a little bit of light leaking out from around the outsides. I need to go through and run some super glue through here and kind of get a little bit of the paint mixed in so it kind of bleeds out. But yeah, a little bit of light blocking needs to be taken care of. But overall, I'm really pleased with how this turned out. And so, my friends, this is another component of this model that is now complete and ready for assembly, joining the nacelles after we get a little bit of cleanup work done and some putty work and some seam work and all that jazz. So we're marching right along. In the next episode, we're going to go ahead and do the final bit of hull modifications with the impulse engine deck. And we're going to go ahead and get everything all ready to go for that assembly. And then, my friends, in the next episode after that, we'll be going ahead and getting some of our LEDs, of which we need 28 of these, ready to go for all of our light boxes for the windows for the saucer section. And then we're getting close to buttoning this thing up and getting into the paint phase. So that's what I got for you guys today. A big shout out to Ken's Hobby Bench. Make sure you check out his channel. His build is going amazing, and he's at a little bit different of a stage than I am. And so kind of want to get an all-encompassing look at the build of this model. Go ahead and check out his channel. And of course, a big thank you to Will over at the Ensign's Chair. Without him, this build wouldn't be as inspired as it is. And of course, for the sponsor for this build, Cass over at Lake Monster Details, we really appreciate all of the support and for all of the parts for this build. So that's what I got for you guys today. And I just want to say thank you. I know that there was a million things y'all could have done today. Instead, you spent a couple minutes with me watching me build a model, and I think that's pretty damn cool. You guys have any questions or comments, tips, tricks, please leave them down below. Like to support the channel, please like and subscribe. And my friends, until we see each other again, I hope you all have a wonderful day in this beautiful world wherever you happen to be. And just remember, from hell's heart, I stab at thee.